Those are sick pants. Happy birthday, Laura. And Cher back there. I have a quick favor to ask you guys. They keep a pretty short leash on me back there, so I don't often get to go up to Startup Alley. So I was hoping that you guys could use the hashtag TCDisrupt and/or my Twitter handle @JordanRCrook and tell me some of your favorite stuff out there, what I should go see when I do have the chance. Help me out a lot, make me more efficient. But without any further ado, let's bring up our next guest. Please welcome, oh, no, I forgot something important. We're gonna do a live Q&A with Ash Carter later in the day. So for the last 10 minutes of his interview, he's going to be answering questions from you guys. And the way that you can submit those questions is using that URL right there. Please submit your questions as quickly as possible. We're gonna go through and curate them, and then he will actually answer questions directly from you guys. So use that wisely, and then now we're gonna get Marc up on stage. So please welcome Salesforce's Marc Benioff and Matthew Panzarino.
Come on out. Thank you, Jordan. All right, welcome to the stage. Let's see. So Sebastian was just out here talking about education. So I'll segue from that. You have, or Salesforce on the whole, has spent roughly 22 million investing in Oakland public schools, San Francisco public schools, equipment and programs and other things. So why was this important, this particular thing important for you?
Well, I think that, in what we all do in creating these great technology companies and creating all these exciting ideas and ventures and self-driving cars and networks and computers and exploding phones, we should also never forget about helping other people. Our companies are incredible resources, and I've seen that through my whole career, that there's all this incredible value in our companies, starting with our employees. Of course, the technology we're making is incredibly valuable and important as well. The financial resources, the relationships that we can bring to bear. And so when you have this incredible value, how can you use it to actually improve the state of the world? And that's why I just strongly believe that the business of business is to improve the state of the world. Salesforce now at scale, this year we'll do more than $8.3 billion. We remain, the fastest growing of the top 10 software companies. We have 25,000 employees. I want to make sure that I can use that resource in a positive, productive manner. Fortunately for me, I decided to do that the day we started the company, when we put 1% of our equity, 1% of our profit, and 1% of all of our employees' time into a 501c3 public charity, and then that's evolved to become Salesforce.org, which is this amazing foundation that supports 28,000 nonprofits who use our service. Our employees have done almost 2 million hours of volunteerism, but also we've been able to give away about $130 million in grants, including this money to public education, which I think is extremely important. Next year we'll give away more than $40 million. The power of the model is just unmistakable, and now there's more than 1,000 companies who have adopted the 1-1-1 model. Anybody in this room adopt the 1-1-1 model? Can you raise your hand if you're a 1-1-1 company? So we have a few here, so thank you very much for doing that.
And you announced a bunch more today, right?
Yes, we've announced a bunch more today. Of course, there's been some great ones that have gone public recently, like Twilio and Yelp and Atlassian, who have created incredible foundations by just going public, because they made that decision early on to put some of their stock away for other people who are less fortunate than they are.
Right.
This has been an incredible opportunity to be able to serve others through this model, and I couldn't be more excited about where it is today. And specifically to your question, I think that everybody knows, we are in a global situation where inequality is on the rise, and everybody has their own opinion of how to handle that. And it's something that's on my mind a lot. And my main focus is public education. I think there's nothing more important than our children's health, and education. And we need to focus on our public schools. Our public schools remain a vital resource for our communities, and specifically here in San Francisco with the San Francisco Unified School District and in Oakland with the Oakland Unified School District, they need a lot of support and they need a lot of help from us. They're two very different districts. They have different sets of needs, different, very different sets of populations. And, I've spent a lot of time with the principals, and I'm excited by the progress we've made. You've seen when we made this announcement that through our focus on the San Francisco Unified School District, especially in the middle schools, which is a key leverage point for all of this work, what we have been able to do is increase test scores, increase attendance, and I believe we're just at the beginning of being a critical partner. And it's very humbling work. I'm very honored to be able to support these public school districts with our employees, with the money, with the technology, and with these other partnerships that we bring to bear. And I encourage every single CEO who's in this room to adopt a public school. We all have public schools that are within a few blocks of our offices. It doesn't take much to walk down there, meet the principal. That's what I've done. Introduce yourself and ask one question: how can I help you improve this school?
Well, let's talk a little bit.
I'm confident we can improve our public schools.
Great. I mean, that's, it's nice to see that. And your situation, as you mentioned, was that you built it in at the DNA level of the company from the start, and you had the advantage of doing that. You had the advantage of saying, when you started the company, this is the way I want to do it. I personally believe in it, and I'm just going to figure out a way to weave it in, right? But for other people...
That really came because I was at Oracle for 13 years before I started Salesforce in 1999. And after 13 years at Oracle, what I could see was, there seemed to be more to the power of a company than just to build great products and to sell them. Right. And a lot of companies build great products and sell products. That's great. All I'm thinking about is, while you're building these great products and changing the world and selling these products and changing the world, let's just think about all those people who are maybe not as fortunate as we are, and use this incredible resource, your company, in a positive, productive manner. And this has been an important message of Salesforce. Of course, Salesforce has a technology message as well and an empower message, but this philanthropic message that, Silicon Valley does not have to be stingy like it traditionally has been. Traditionally, entrepreneurs have hoarded their wealth. Companies have not given back traditionally. They haven't really focused on the communities that they do business in. That has to change. Today's world, it's not an option. We all have to go and do something. I don't really care what actually you do. You have to go do one thing, personal action. This is the most important thing, or we're going to have, continued troubles that we see today.
So in addition to these charitable and community service efforts that Salesforce does, lately you've taken a much more vocal stance on some social issues. And I think this will be really helpful for entrepreneurs in the audience and CEOs and people who may be CEOs. Describe the mental math that you do as the CEO of a large company, tons of employees, momentum, all these other things to think about when you get ready to break out the Twitter and tweet Mike Pence, governor of Indiana, now Trump running mate, and tell him you're going to pull Salesforce out of the state if he doesn't repeal the Religious Freedom Restoration Act or not pass it. So what's the mental math you do there?
Well, I think it goes something like this. Each of us has a set of values that our company has to stand for. This is really critical for us to think about what's really important to you in priority. What is really important about your company? Not just what you want, your vision, which is very important. We've seen great entrepreneurs who have been able to articulate great visions. Well, yes, I know what you want. Now tell me what is important about it in priority. What is your most important guiding value in our company? For us, our actual first most important value is trust. If we don't have the trust of our customers, our employees, our partners, our investors, of all of our stakeholders, we just cannot do business. That's number one. The second one I strongly believe in our industry, I'm guided many times by growth. Growth is very important. which is, I think, one of the reasons why Salesforce remains such a fast-growing company. The third one is innovation. Innovation is a guiding force and a guiding spirit of our whole industry. We're deeply committed to innovation, both organically and inorganically. And fourth is equality. We strongly believe that inequality means, for us, many things, but it means gender equality, so that women have the same opportunities as men, for example.
And you recently instituted a large pay raise for many of your employees to even that imbalance out, correct?
We have a broad set of programs to make sure that women not only have opportunities for growth, not only are opportunities for career expansion, but are paid the same as men. And a lot of companies are not willing to look to see, are women paid the same as men? You see that in the movie industry. You see that in a lot of industries where women are paid less than men. It's true in our industry too. CEOs have to take that on. That's one issue.
How do we get Silicon Valley to take that gender pay gap seriously?
How do you do what?
How do you get them to take it seriously? Because you take it seriously. You put, you made action. You took action.
Your women employees have to stand up, men employees have to stand up, and people have to say, I fight for equality. If you are going to fight against inequality, then you have to fight for equality. That is the antidote to inequality. And one of the major elements of inequality is gender inequality. So everyone has to be able to stand up and say, let's make sure that we have gender equality. Another one that's extremely important to us is LGBTQ equality. Well, you referenced Mike Pence in Indiana, who signed a law, basically repressing the rights of the LGBTQ community in Indiana, that we had to fight back by building a coalition of many of the companies in our industry and in this room, and other industries as well. And we were able to do something very important. We turned back the law in Indiana. The same thing happened only about 6 months ago in Georgia. Again, you had another set of state senators, who wanted to hold back LGBTQ equality. It doesn't seem possible, because here we are in San Francisco, city of love, but it is. There's a lot of shit going on out there, and I can tell you that that's like one thing that you've got a set of people who have a lot of hate in their hearts. Okay, they're not kind of the summer of the love people of San Francisco. There's no tie-dye, and it's no LSD, and they're all basically holding them down. And you're like, oh, no, we can free, it's not all right. You're not going to do this to our employees.
Right.
You are going to basically, very simply, have equality for LGBTQ. You see it in North Carolina, where it's still underway, but major sporting organizations, like you saw the NCAA just yesterday, say,
right,
hey, if you're going to repress transgender in North Carolina, we're not going to do our basketball game there. Good for them. That's the kind of thing that needs to happen. The people need to take a stand. And if you don't take a stand, then I'll tell you that there are a lot of people in this country, Mike Pence and others, who are going to do some very bad things to the people that we love. And those people are my employees. And so when those employees call me and say, hey, I'm in this state, Indiana. We're the largest tech employer in Indiana. So we're not just the largest tech employer in San Francisco, we're the largest tech employer in Indiana. So when those employees call me and say, well, Mark, what are you going to do for me? What do you want me to do? I guess I have two choices. One, I could ignore them and have indifference towards them and say, I'm not going to do anything for you. Or two, I can say, well, I guess we better go change that law, because that was a bad law and it needed to change. And fortunately, in Georgia, the governor did not sign the law. Unfortunately, in North Carolina, the governor did sign the law. This is just something that you've got to be willing to take on if you're a leader in our industry. And I am for LGBTQ equality. And also, I believe we have to have greater racial equality in our industry, too. We got to move our standards up. We have to move the numbers up. And next week, we will announce Salesforce's first Chief Equality Officer, reporting directly to me, to own these issues specifically, so that on a regular day-to-day basis, this is in my mind, and that I know that I haven't just delegated it down to the functional organizations, but that I can be assured that we are fighting for equality across the whole planet.
Right.
That's really important to me.
And that's one of the common things that many people talk about this, and they say, oh, we instituted this position where somebody will watch over this and hopefully improve our diversity, but that person has no direct authority or no line due to the CEO's ear, and so they can't affect change.
Well, number one, this is really hard. Anybody who thinks this is not hard, anybody who thinks that public education is not hard, anybody who thinks equality is not hard, hasn't really been out there to see what's going on. So, we are partly responsible in the technology industry for what's going on with inequality in the world. We know that, we can see that connection, all right? Now, there's other things going on as well. There's other political issues, systemic issues, but we're partly responsible. And when you look at things that are going on in the world, like, there's now, I think the number is 65 million refugees underway, 24 new refugees every minute. You got to think about, what can I do to help them? What can I do to make the world a little better? We can stay in our cubes. It's easy. We can stay and do our code. I've done that myself. We can just focus on our companies, just focus on our own results. We can just focus on our own technology. It's fine, but I'll tell you, you're not going to really get the really great feeling of life. The real joy, the real happiness that comes from giving, the real pleasure, which is to help other people. And so it's quite selfish, actually, in many ways. Not only are you helping all these other people, you're ultimately helping yourself, and you're improving the state of the world. I think this is more important today than ever, and I'm doubling down on it at Salesforce. Again, when you come to Dreamforce, you'll see that. You'll see not only more nonprofits and NGOs there than ever before, but you'll see a day focused on philanthropy, and you'll see sessions focused on teaching other companies how to adopt these programs. And
so let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about Salesforce as a company. So one thing I'd like to talk about a little bit is Einstein. So you've teased this as an AI-driven kind of suite of enhancements for Salesforce. It sounds like you've got about 200 data scientists working on this thing. What is it? What does it do, and why do you think it's going to get you to that, that 10 billion mark?
Well, I can't tell you that.
Why not? We're here.
When we get to Dreamforce, there's going to be 4 big things that we are focused on from a technology perspective. The first one is Einstein. So you probably know we spent about $650 million buying about a dozen AI companies, machine learning companies, deep learning companies, and we've been able to, through that, acquire some of the greatest, most exciting entrepreneurs, but also data scientists and computer scientists in this area. And we were able to stitch together a platform that we call Einstein. Einstein is a deeply integrated artificial intelligence platform that handles the major areas of AI that we've been able to turn into, both declaratively and programmatically, as a service that supports our applications. So then when we get to Dreamforce, if you're a Sales Cloud customer, you're going to see Sales Cloud Einstein, a whole new way to look at sales where the software is really helping you to be your very best salesperson. You're going to see Service Cloud Einstein, a whole new version of our Service Cloud helping you to be the best service, and a Marketing Cloud Einstein, Analytics Cloud Einstein.
So are these machine learning tools, or is it a true AI?
Oh no, this is a true AI. I mean, some of the technology that we've bought and some of the scientists that we've been able to acquire, people like Richard Socher of MetaMind, who's one of the fundamental researchers in deep learning, this is the real McCoy. This is a highly accurate, extremely effective AI platform that we are going to use first to support our own applications so that our customers can have the best AI in the world. It's really AI for everyone. One of the things that Salesforce does, and you know this, is that when our customers get our products, they can access them programmatically, but a lot of our customers also access them declaratively, which means they're not programmers themselves.
Right.
And that's given them the cloud, that's given them social networks, it's given them mobility, and now it's going to give them AI. That is, our goal is to be able to take our best users, or what we call our Salesforce trailblazers, and make them AI experts. And that's something I'm extremely excited about. And I'm actually on a global tour right now, rolling out the Dreamforce pitch and getting feedback from customers, and it's been very exciting to see that feedback. So we're really focused on Salesforce Einstein. We're really focused on Salesforce One, which is our mobile platform, which now has millions of users, and we're going to do some amazing new things at Dreamforce, including letting our customers give it their own skin so they can create their own user interface and put it under the App Store with their own name on it, which will be amazing for our customers. We're going to also deploy a whole new version of our platform, Salesforce Lightning. We just introduced a new version of that last week called Lightning Bolt, which is a application development environment for communities, but also
to get people onboarded to it quicker.
Oh yeah, new component frameworks, all kinds of incredible things to give people the ability to build new apps. And finally, we acquired this great company called Quip, and this focus on productivity within our applications, because all of our customers are frustrated with the state of productivity in their enterprise, and we want to give them that next generation through this incredible Quip product. And if you haven't tried Quip, it's a easy product to put on. Great.
It's good.
Put it on your phone.
It's good. Yeah, I mean, it was a good buy.
Brett Taylor has done a great job.
Brett's very talented.
It's already integrated into our service. It'll have single sign-on. It'll be deeply integrated as a lightning control. It'll be really amazing.
So we have like just a couple of seconds. I want your opinion on this iPhone thing, because they introduced an iPhone, right, with no headphone jack. Was that a dick move, or is it the right thing to do?
You know, the problem is, I mean, I have a lot to say about that, but I won't, because, you know, I really think that I don't really want to comment on somebody else's innovation.
That is incredibly cagey.
I ordered one.
Okay, well, you ordered it, so it wasn't enough to stop you from ordering one.
No, I'm willing to buy anything. So I think it's great.
I think your M&A strategy has proven that out.
I think it's very exciting, and I think, you know, look at, number one, let's focus on what's really important. We're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of Steve Jobs passing. This industry owes a lot to Steve Jobs. He left an incredible legacy of technology and innovation, and we owe a deep, deep bow to Steve Jobs. He's amazing.
Very good. Thank you, Marc. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.